T Smalls, what it do? What it do?
Man, what's going on, Mr. Palmer? How you doing, sir?
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. We got two of Jacksonville's best. Tricky Nicky and the banker. How y'all doing?
Hey.
Smalls, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. What you been up to, my brother?
Man, chilling, trying to enjoy this day. It was hotter than a camel's ass today.
You look kind of sleepy, man. All them bags under your eyes. Let me see. I don't.
Hey, man, long hours, man. Long hours, longer days, bro. Gotta get the grind. The grind don't stop.
Nah, don't stop. I'm Pastor Palmer. Welcome to the tree, everybody. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Smalls, show them some love.
Man, we talking under the tree.
Smalls, sing it short.
Hey, look, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. You know what? Since we together, we might as well stay because we talking under the tree tonight, baby.
Them two at the bottom look like they have some 8:30 p.m. foolery in Duval. What you think, Smalls?
Hey, we gonna see. We gonna see.
Yeah, we gonna see. One time for your mind, two times for your soul. We'll be right back in 20 seconds. See y'all in a second. Tonight's topic, we're going to get into a discussion that might get a little real about stepkids. Could it be a curse? Could it be a blessing? Life experiences and all that goes with it. We're going to start off with Tricky Nicky. I like that name. Can I call you that? Can we call you that today?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Have you ever experienced dating or whatever with kids that was not yours? The good, the bad, the ugly, did it work out?
Well, the last guy I dated actually has had kids and actually had small kids and grown kids. I say like this, since I've had grandchildren, I can deal more or less with the guy who has children, now has small children. Mm-hmm. Whereas before I had my grandkids, I would have preferred somebody that had children that was my children's age, if not older, and maybe out of the house.
Oh, wow. Man, that's something I didn't know. Miss Baker.
Because see, I do a lot with my grandkids. I'm sorry, I do a lot with my grandkids. So I'm a type of woman, it don't bother me if a man has younger children now, even though I know women my age normally, that's a no-no. But because I'm so active with my grandchildren, that don't really bother me.
Okay. Miss Baker, I know you have something to say. T. Small's probably going to compliment you. He can't wait because he heard all about you. Did you just pose in Ebony magazine?
Oh, honey. Oh, yeah. I'll take that. I'll take the Ebony.
Right.
I wish.
Right.
Probably Jacksonville Ebony.
Yeah. Do you have any experience with dealing with kids that's not yours or family members, the good, the bad, and the ugly? It could be a blessing or a curse. What is your experiences?
I agree. Definitely I have experience. My husband and I, we have been together since 1999. Mm-hmm. And, you know, of course, Black people love. So we didn't get married until 2005. Okay. But one thing that my mother-in-law told me from the beginning, because he and I both came together before we had our own child together, we had children of our own. So I always tell people we have his, mine, and ours. We are the Baker bunch, not the Brady bunch, but we have the bathroom to match because we have a Jack and Jill bathroom. But my mother-in-law came in the beginning and she said, we don't do steps in this family. Steps is something you step on. Nobody ain't getting stepped on around here. And you know what? I appreciate and I love her, you know, to this day. I can truly say that I feel that I have a great relationship with my 3 stepchildren. We don't say step, I'm gonna say my other kids.
Yeah, right.
And I know my husband has an amazing relationship with my son, who calls him his pops and, you know, all those things. And then we have our daughter together. So I've never been a stepchild. I've only been a stepmother. My mother never really had a boyfriend in the house. I never really had to experience that. And you know, as far as in my house, I should say, I take that back. As far as in my house, my dad did have a wife, and she was a good stepmother. But you know, it's when you don't live with your daddy, and he's not the best, you know, father that he can be.
Right.
I can say that my stepmother, that when she could, and when it was her time, she always stood in the gap for me. So I seen somebody who, you know, came in my life without prejudiceness and did whatever she could with whatever little it was, because they didn't have a lot. My daddy was in the street and all that stuff, but she made, when I would go to Orlando, she would make me feel warm, welcome. She'll have me little gifts. It would be big stuff, you know, but she would always involve me, and that's how I kind of perceive a step parent, even though I didn't really have one in my house. So, but as far as being a stepchild with a man living in my house every day, telling me what to do, you know, I really didn't have that.
Okay. T Smalls, I know you want to compliment her lovely. She's a lyricist. I like that.
I can sing
Yeah,
too.
man. It's. I mean, I grew up in a family like that where it wasn't no such thing as step. I can agree with that. You know, if your family, ain't no such thing as step, ain't no such thing as half brother or whatever the case may be. So I can agree with that. You know what I mean? Coming from my family, because I got a big family, probably big as the whole state of South Carolina. But you know, yeah, I can agree with you.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up in a house where it was a step. It was a step. It was a step, and it was a division. It was something different, you know. And I tell people, and I speak honest about it to this day. I think with my stepdad being a 29-year Navy veteran, he was a sailor or whatever. Once I became a merchant seaman and started sailing, me and his relationship changed. But up until that point, I admired him because of how he stood in the gap, so to speak, because he was in the home. Actually, I didn't live with them, you know, when I, you know, grew up and had my kids or whatever, but my children was always to my mom's house, and he was there where it was their house. And he was the perfect grandfather, like taking them fishing, you know, teaching them yard work, doing all the stuff that my dad, who was a contractor and who was kind of coarse and abrasive, my dad didn't have that type of relationship with my children. And my stepfather, he did. But as far as dealing with me and my sister versus his children, oh, it was a step. It was a difference. It was a difference in the way, I'm not gonna say he treated us bad or anything, but like me and his daughter is actually 6 months apart.
Wow.
Graduated the same year. She's actually she's December of 74 and I'm June of 75. And you know, it was a difference. It was a difference in gifts and things that was, even when he went on his cruises, things that was brought over from the Middle East and all around the world. It was a difference in what I got. The t-shirt, she got the gold from Egypt, you know, and the perfumes. It was a difference. It was a difference. It was a step.
No, you was going there. I knew you was going there.
No, but I mean, it is what it is. It went there because that's where it was. You know what I mean? I'm just telling it like it is, and what the truth was. And that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? And so it was just, you know, like we talk about once we were grown and everything. I remember when he and my mom bought the house they're in now. And it's a 2-car garage, you know, and he always had nice vehicles. Him and my mom both had nice vehicles. You know, hers was garage kept. He always kept his trucks outside, but he was the wash wax type of guy. And he would literally park his truck smack dab in the middle of the driveway. Like my mother wouldn't even be able to back out of the garage. He would park in the middle so we couldn't park along the sides and bang up his truck or whatever. And we literally had to park on the street. But when his children came to visit from Athens, because that's where they're from, he would move his truck over so his daughter could park her car in the driveway. Mind you, me and her had the same kind of car, 2004 Nissan Altima. And I told my mama, I say the same way she don't want her shit hit, I don't want mine hit either. Why I gotta park on the street? You know, so I had that type of attitude Because I called things what it was. You know, y'all know how I talk, and I done told y'all a million times. I talk the way I talk to everybody. You know, I don't be disrespectful with it, but I'm gonna call it, I'm gonna put it out there on the table and say what it is. I'm not gonna tiptoe around it. Why you gotta do me a certain way? But I see that you can move that motherfucking truck over for your people, but you couldn't move it for me. You know what I mean?
Hey, I think she's still mad, Smalls.
No, those type of things. No, because now he pulls to the side. You know, like I say, it's a whole nother type of vibe once I started selling and things like that. Like we totally, you know, we could talk, and you know, he could talk his Navy talk to me and I could understand the lingo versus everybody else don't know what a bow stern, you know, none of that stuff is, you know, flight decks and all that. I know all of that stuff about dealing with the ships and everything. So we have a whole different type of relationship, but it was rough. I'm telling you. And him and my mom dated when my parents was getting a divorce when I was 4 years old. They dated like during that time, and then they rekindled a relationship and went on to get married when I was like 13, 14. So he was, you know, they were kind of dating at that point when I was still in high school and things. And then they got married like right after I had right before I graduated, I believe. And so he was really in our lives, in our home with us when I became, you know, a young adult. And it was rough, man, because I didn't bite my tongue, and he was just set in his ways. He favors his daughter. He favors his, you know, out of his 2 kids, his daughter is his favorite. It is what it is. And I wasn't with that.
Let me ask you a question. So when y'all got cool and everything, man, did you tell him about the car thing? Say, hey, look, man, why you used to park your damn car in the middle of the driveway?
Oh, I said that when it was going on.
Oh.
Man, do I look
blunt ass.
Do I look like?
I know that's right. I know that's right.
Like somebody that's gonna sit on some shit for 10, 15 years, man. Come on, man. Come on. It's me.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know, it is what it is. You know.
Hold on a second before we forget. We got to give a shout out. I'm gonna give a shout out to Teddy Chisholm, T Smalls. Who you gonna give a shout out to, real quick? Anybody?
Man, I'm gonna give a shout out to everybody that's on this podcast and the whole Let's Talk Under the Tree group, man. I'm gonna give everybody a shout out tonight.
Moving right along, the 2 ladies at the bottom, the banker and Tricky Nikki. One of y'all high school classmates gave y'all a shout out, and T Smalls got the video just for y'all. Straight up. And I'm gonna play it right here. And they kept it true to the culture. Here we go.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Trying to find a crease on the left side. Hey, y'all. Still looking for a middle linebacker.
First down,
Play action. There is another touchdown.
Hey, Miss Kelly.
Justin Shorter.
Lord mercy. Everybody should cut.
You want to give y'all a shot?
You're trying to be funny about the crab.
No,
Thank you. That ain't even funny to me.
He's
I
trying
could
to
have
be
got
funny
my
about.
tray from out the refrigerator too and ate in y'all damn face. So I don't even say. That's not about no crowds. Hey, but I will kill a nigga over my damn.
Oh man.
Duval. Hit it, Small.
I know that's right. Yo. That's what they do. That's what they do.
Play with them crabs.
What you say?
That's what they do, huh?
Miss
But,
Baker.
hey, she was chewing on that thing, boy.
Miss Baker, let me ask you this. Since you have a blended family, the kids that's not yours, do they demand a different type of attention from you or your husband, or vice versa? Or the biological kids?
Well, I can say this. So when I met my husband, you know, we dated for about a year, my boyfriend then.
Right.
And his son, pretty much, my baby boy, he always stayed with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he and I don't know, from day one, even his son today, that's my baby. They said that's my baby.
Right.
But he and he's always kind of cleaved to me a little bit, you know. Like, I guess because I had my son and he had 2 sisters and a mama that, you know, he would have to go stay with and stuff like that. And he would rather be over there with my son playing the video games and stuff like that. And so I can say that I think because he was a little badass. So, and I used to have to protect my husband from getting on him all the time and little stuff like that. You know, I think that he and I have, you know, a kind of more of a bond, like more mother. I can fuss at him. You know, he know I'm gonna cuss him out.
Okay.
He ain't gonna go all crazy and be all crazy. And I think that started from just a young age. Now, as they have gotten older, you might even see from time to time, my oldest daughter, she was I'm gonna say the worst. She even put on Facebook the other day, she said, when I was young and I was mean to my stepmother, she was still nice to me. And she said, and today I'm her favorite. And I love that because, she was her daddy's first child. She's her daddy's child. She looked like her daddy. She talked to her daddy every day. She her best friend, and he's her best friend. I even had to tell her, look, you can't tell your daddy everything. He ain't your damn best friend because he gonna get mad at some shit you don't forgot about, So, but nevertheless, I can say as they have gotten older, we definitely, when it comes to my girls, it's like more of a relationship, when it comes to like step parents and talking, especially the oldest one. Her and I, sometimes we get on the phone and I call to ask her one question, and that's 2 hours later. We don't gossip about everybody from people riding down the street, co-workers, church, you name it. We be done sat there and talked about it, and it started off with one little question. So, I can say that, I just remember like little things that they would do as little teenagers, smack the teeth, roll your eyes, stomp your feet. Well, hell, I can smack my teeth, roll my eyes, stomp my feet too. I don't care about no doggone attitude. You heard what I said, y'all get y'all ass in there and clean up that damn kitchen. Y'all left a funk in there. I need one of y'all to go back in there and get the rest of them damn dishes. The stools on top of the counter and mark the floor. Lazy ass.
Wow.
Like my mama.
You sound like my mama. Damn, I'm like, this is right now. Shit.
Okay.
Exactly. And my husband was the same way, like with my son. I can remember when my son, when we first kind of like started bringing our kids around each other, and me and my son, we lived in my apartment together. And my son had a thing of just he'll come in the room because it's me and his mama house. He can walk in my room anytime he wants. And my damn boyfriend say, God damn, he won't even knock on the door. Well, he never had no parent where he got to knock on the door. Because it's just me and him. He come sleep in my bed if he want. It's just me and him. Now you got this nigga laying, you got this joker laying in the bed. He got to knock on the door. That's why I was like,
knock on the damn door. Knock on the door.
On the door, because you know what you might walk into. And today, my son's 28. And years ago, and even when he got married, he talked about how his daddy stole his mama away from him. Because he was an only boy. I had him at 17, so he was just a baby. He was a big old baby. He's still a big old baby to this day, even at soon to be 29. But my husband would do the same. He's like, hey man, you open that door, you knock on that door. And he had to get adjusted to that, going from being just him and his mama, and then going to a man being there, and then especially when we moved out of our apartment and we moved into my then boyfriend house. We moved from my apartment into his house. So that really changed the dynamic. And I can remember my son used to always say, Mom, I want a stuff. He used to have a list. He said, Mom, I want a duster. I want a duster. Boy, that joker woke up one day. Not only did he have a duster, he had 2 dusters and he had a brother. He was like, damn, who gave me all these extra siblings? I ain't asked for them. I wanted one little baby. And here it is, you done gave me some grown ass people I got to share my damn game with, my room, my sweetie home. I got to get them all my and my cereal and my fruit roll-ups. I got to share all that. And I can't get my Jordans. I can't get my Jordans that I'm used to getting $100 shoes, and now you telling me I got to get 2 for $79. I don't like them shoes. He'll walk around with his milk.
He put it on the wish list.
Yeah. He put it for mama. Granny. And my husband said, hey man, you gonna everybody getting something, So, it was even an adjustment for him. So my husband had also, we had to break our kids together. And the thing of it is, it was all the same age. My husband, his 3 is 1, 2, 3, literally. Like this year, they'll be 30, 29, and 28. Okay. My son, he'll be 29. And him and my middle daughter are 10 days apart. He's November 1st and she's November 10th. So, our kids was right there, so it wasn't that you fussing at one, you gonna fuss at all. Everybody gonna get it, everybody got to get in there cleaned up and, this, that, and the third. And they still pick at me right now, talk about how when we moved in our house, I had put up I put chore lists everywhere because I'm tired of fussing on that ass all the time. And my daughter talking about, yeah, you the only one say toilet is there well, and then get mad when nobody don't do the toilet.
Wow. Hey, Smalls.
So
I think Tricky Nikki. Well, back to Miss Baker, you the mild one, but I think Tricky Nikki with her sister wanted to fight. What you think, Smalls? Try to like a Brahma bull or something like that. Try to bulldog.
Hey, I could just imagine the rivalries that go on. You know what I mean?
It was a rivalry like this when she got in her mood. Instead of her being nice to the sister, she did this right here.
Right.
Hey, get your motherfucking hands off me, bro. Y'all niggas, matter of fact, get your ass take y'all niggas. I'm gonna make some of y'all ass bitch. Ain't no bullet, nigga.
Oh my God.
That's Tricky Nikki.
Actually, I'm gonna be honest with you. It was never like a rivalry between the steps, you know, because it was never, to be honest with you, it was never that closeness with when we were younger. It wasn't that closeness with me and him. So his daughter didn't have nobody invading in on that. She was the daddy's girl and I wasn't his girl. You see what I'm saying? So It was no competition. And then with my mother, to be honest, my mother always, they were her step kids, and it was treated that way. It was never like how Laquita saying, it wasn't that in my family. It was, that shit was dysfunctional from the door. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, not saying like it was just crazy, but you know, they was raised in a different time, and it wasn't that circumstance like maybe in the 50s and 60s when the daddy died and then mama married Mr. Joe and Mr. Joe came in and raised the kids. Like, it wasn't that type of time. We talking about the 90s, but just so happened with people that was born in the 50s, and it was like two separate families being in the same house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they lived out of town, so they wasn't in Jacksonville. So it was like maybe a Thanksgiving or a Christmas or maybe a Labor Day or something, you know, where they come in town. So it wasn't all the time. It wasn't all the time to where they were there. So it wasn't really no competition. And like I said, I had my son when I was young, when I was 16, and he stepped in and was like, I remember my stepdad, because we're talking about he's got to be about 6'3", 6'4".
Right.
Almost 300 pounds, if not 300 pounds, big dude. And my son like sleep on his chest, you know? So I saw that part of it, you know, and like I told my mama, I couldn't do nothing but respect him as a man for how I saw him treat my kids. That I ain't give a damn about me. You can do what you want to do to me, but I saw how he treated my children. And that made all the difference in the world to me. That made all the difference in the world. So it was like Father's Days, birthdays, whatever. I did what I had to do for. I never treated them any different. Christmas and stuff like that. I went out, bought gifts and all of that because the respect was there. You know, we probably didn't have that mushy love, but we damn sure had the respect. I had the respect for him, and I believe he grew to have the respect for me.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I was gonna say, you know, he just probably grew up, honestly. You know, he grew up into his manhood, and he probably say, damn, I probably was real petty. You know, and I'll be honest with you too, it's probably some shit that his kids did to the point he like, well, damn, they over here doing this and they over here doing this. Because I think sometimes that's something that my husband kind of go through. You know, like my baby boy kind of sometimes might say, oh, well, you don't do Rashad like this, but you know, but you get different results from different kids, and it makes you open your eyes. If my husband always say, if I have one piece of bread and both of them hungry and starving, and somebody say, you got to pick one child to get this one piece of bread to, naturally he's gonna give it to his biological son, because that's just human nature. That's just what we're going to do, right? As a parent, it's not that he loves, you know, he does not love my son as much as he would love his son, but naturally that's just the human nature, because that's his seed, his spirit, you know. And my son don't realize that. He just feels like, oh, you know, he get held up here and this, that, the third, you know. And I tell him all the time, I say, you got to think about what you do to get that response. You know, ever since you was a little boy, you've been the common denominator. meaning you always
Mhm.
doing some shit in school, you know, you always like everything. And we don't have that issue on the other side. So whereas you feel like somebody praising somebody, it's not so much that they praising them, but damn, every time we have to talk about them, it ain't nothing bad. So that's probably a lot of that had happened within him with his kids, whether he told y'all or not. And it probably let him see a lot of shit to say, well, damn, you know, here they is, they probably over here doing this, that, and the third. And I ain't even give them a chance. And look how good they doing, you know, or something like that. So
Exactly.
it could be something like that underlying that we just don't know. And it could be just that he grew up as a man, as a person, spiritually, you know, mentally, because you know, as they say, a child do as childish things, and as a man, when you grow, you do manly things. And he could have just grown as a man too.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, Smalls, it's Laquita. She's in the banking. In your honest opinion, I think I heard they might have 10 kids. Just rounded off to 10. How do you think she spread the money around with all of them damn churn?
Ooh, hey, you know what? I don't think it's a matter of spreading the money around, but it's a matter of teaching them how to be wise with their own money. You know what I'm saying? So being that she a banker, man, they got the inside scoop on stuff that they probably wouldn't normally know and things that they wouldn't normally, you know, hear about. So look, man, I wish I had a banker in my house.
Let me tell you something. I have been in banking for 18 years. Okay, I started with the bank in the mortgage department, and then when I was pregnant with my daughter, I really didn't want to work at my insurance, so I came to the banking side inside the branch, and that's what I do to this day because I love it.
Right.
But I thank God for that, because had I would have stayed on the other side and I never really saw what real money looked like, because you know, us black people will get a $10,000 income tax check. It blow our mind. We balling, we rich, and then 3 months later, we around here can't pay our light bill. That's just the reality of our culture.
That's balling on the budget.
I'm glad you said that. You know what? I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm gonna twist the topic just slightly because you kind of touched on it, and I want your opinion. Sorry for changing the subject. I was talking to a couple like about 2 days ago. They 56, married, and they lived in a house. She inherited a house, paid for. They live mortgage free because the house was paid for from her parents. 25 years straight. You know where I'm going at with this? So now they decided to buy. They had to buy a house. They didn't do any renovations on the older home, which wasn't too bad. So now he's mad because he's saying that he don't really have any money. But 25 years mortgage free. T Smalls, take it from the top. What you think?
Well, you know, it's a saying that you know, when you live beyond your means, meaning that you spend it more than what you bring it in, and at the end of the day, you ain't got nothing to show for it. But if I had 25 years of mortgage free, I mean no mortgage, oh my gosh, I don't know. I would have had to been like Miss Baker and become a banker, man, for real.
Ricky Nicky, what you got on it? Ricky Nicky, what you got about that?
I don't think they was balling on the budget. They just wasn't saving for a rainy day. They wasn't planning nothing. They wasn't planning. They was living their best life every payday. Every payday. I bet you they got all type of shit in their house that they really don't need. Right. They probably got a couple of cars, or maybe a few motorcycles, a damn what them days mobile home. Oh, it sounds like I'm describing you, Mr. Palmer. But I ain't talking about you, buddy. I ain't talking about you now. I ain't talking about you. Come up here, you know?
Oh hell.
I'm not talking through them to you, Mr. Palmer. I swear. You just so happen to fit the mold.
Okay.
But these people, they obviously didn't plan nothing out. But I will admit, I have been those people. I wasn't rent free. I wasn't mortgage free. But I didn't really, like I say, I'm in a situation now to where I'm trying to move, you know, buy a house and everything. You know, I didn't plan things out, so to speak. But I'm getting together though. But see, I got the type of job to where I just got to stop doing the dumb shit, and I can stack the bread up real quick. You know what I mean? So
tell my business. You make 6, blow 6. Miss Laquita, go ahead on what you want to say.
But I was saying that. I was saying all of that to say is that I'm so happy that God put me on that side of my career path, because something that I did, I would never forget. I was at Orange Park in Blandon, and I had a little boy came into the bank, and he opened up a brand new account. He had just turned 18. He had just graduated high school. It was like in the summertime. He had just turned 18 too. And he said, well, when can I get a credit card? And I said, oh, you can get a credit card now if you got a job. And he said, well, I do got a job. And I said, oh, okay. I said, we can always check you for a credit card. And I say, but for most times that with first time, credit builders, you have to do a secure card because you don't have anything for the bank to go back and look at to say you've been a good payer, paying on time, this, that, and third. Man, I did that, boy. And back then, this is when we would do an application, they would show us the person's credit score.
Right.
I did this little fresh out of high school boy credit card, first credit card. And Bank of America gave him a $10,000 credit card. I almost fell out my damn chair. Hold on, homeboy. I've been working for the bank for how many years, and I can't even get a $10,000 credit card. So it don't matter about what you work at, it's about what you do with your tab. So what he had told me, he said my mama had me on her credit card since I was like 12 years old. And I was like, wow, man, I took that paper because we would print it out and it would show the approval, the card number that's gonna come and all that stuff, and have their credit score on there. They don't do that anymore. And I showed all the bankers because I could not believe. I wanted them to see that boy's birthday, and I wanted to see how his credit score was almost 800. Almost 800 because his parents had him on their credit card. The flip of that is that I have, when I worked on 103rd, I remember helping a girl, and again, they did credit different then. And I applied her for a credit card, and it told me she was declined. They don't tell us instantly that you decline no more. And that girl, without blinking her eyes, had crocodile tears coming down her face. And she looked at me, and she was just holding her face like this, and tears was just streaming down her face. She wouldn't even blink. She was breaking my heart. She said, I never had a chance. A black girl. She said, my mama and my aunties messed me up. She said, right now, I can't even get a JEA in my name because they got $6,000 and $7,000 JEA bills in my name that I'm trying to work to get. She said, I've never had a thing. She was like 20-something years old. She said, everything I've ever tried to get, I have been told no. I can't get a car. I can't get a cell phone. I can't get this. I can't get cable. I can't get nothing. And she was just literally not even, I will never forget this little girl in none of my life, blanking with her tears rolling down her face. So I said, you know what? I want different from my kids. So from my oldest daughter, now the knucklehead, it wasn't on it, but my kids, I had them on my credit card from before they were even 18, 16, 17, not no 12. Because at 12, my ass couldn't get a credit card. So, but
yeah, they giving everybody credit cards now.
Well, sister got big credit cards. But I say that to say is that I wanted them to have a running start. And I can remember fussing at my girls and stuff and my son when they were all in college saying, well, you walk your ass in that bank. Don't you get no damn credit card because your ass ain't got no money, and this, that, and the third. I'm like, I'm gonna break your damn hand. And for my three oldest ones, I must say neither one of them would get a credit card until they talk to me. Well, the middle girl, she kind of sneak I did it, but she hadn't kind of mentioned that she hadn't got one. But the oldest one and my son, neither one of them, they were actually in my branch, and I had to have my associates they talked to me first before they would even say, okay, let me get a credit card. My mama gonna be mad. Responsibility. I wanted them to have that running jump, and I thank God that He put me on that side because I probably would have never known that still working in the mortgage. I would have been just jacked up as probably anybody else. You know what I'm saying? With money.
Right. Do you I think you got to go. You had some business to take care of. It's 9:07.
No, actually, I text you. She texted me back. She gonna go later.
Okay, all right. Well, that's what I'm talking about.
All right. Well, let's keep rolling.
Yes, let's keep rolling.
Because I have to get my coins.
All right. I want to know about the relationship with Tricky Nikki and your sister, you know, in 2021. Do y'all cut y'all eyes at each other, or are y'all good?
No, it was never nothing between me and her. It was never nothing between me and her. We good. Like, she has my niece, my nephew, she has children. I have a stepbrother, you know, and he's cool. They come down, we grill, we drink, we talk shit. We do everything because we all the same age. It was never nothing with the children. Like I said, it was always the distance with the parents. And I believe the stepchild dynamic and the children dynamic, you're talking two totally different things. Sometimes you get the kids that operate on the parents' vibe. You know, the parents treating somebody bad, the kids feel like they got to treat them bad. But majority of the time, children, they don't operate in that foolishness like that. Children just like being around with children. But we were actually teenagers, you know, when my parents, you know, when our parents got together, and we never had an issue. I just noticed the difference in the way me and my sister was treated versus his daughter was being treated. And I can't say the son, because he actually treated the son kind of standoffish too. He was crazy about his daughter. He had a daddy's girl. And the son did, like you saying, Quita, the son did stupid shit. He was doing dumb stuff. And you know, his daddy just wasn't with it. Yeah, his daddy wasn't with it. So he treated him accordingly. But you know, and you know, me and my sister weren't perfect. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, it was kind of rough because him being in the house, and he could hear my mama, whether she was, you know, ranting and raving, talking to us, or maybe she was ear hustling with him, pillow talking with him at night. I don't know. But she would tell the stuff that we doing. But see, he wouldn't tell what his children was out of state doing. You see what I'm saying? They was out of sight, out of mind. So we didn't know what they were probably doing, but he knew everything that we were doing because of how him being in Jacksonville in the house or whatever. And that could have been something, you know, like I said, I had my kid, you know, when I was young or whatever. But the last two, I was out of the house and gone and, you know, renting from my mom at that point in time. But he was always a good grandfather, and it ain't no step grandfather. When my children talk about him, that's granddaddy. And to me, even now, I've noticed as I've gotten older, I say my parents' house. I very rarely say my mom and stepdad. If I do, it's only because I may be talking to somebody who actually knows my father. And I want to distinguish between the two on who I'm talking about, not my father, not my biological father, but I'm talking about my stepdad. So I would say stepdad. But if it's people that don't know the dynamic of my family, I say my parents.
Right.
My mom and dad.
Yeah. T Smalls, somebody want to go back to this topic right here. I think it's for Ms. Baker. What they say?
Say what? 25 years rent, mortgage free. Not doing no renovations. What the heck, at bare minimum, you could do as upgrades. Keep the conditioning of the home up and the roofs are good for 20 years. And I understand what they're saying, man. Like, it's no way you can go 25 years and not do nothing. And you mean to tell me you have nothing to show for it? I mean, I can go 25 years, man, without paying a mortgage right now. I mean, how about y'all? I mean, boy.
And guess what?
If somebody give me 10 years of not paying my mortgage, I guarantee you I'm gonna have me houses to go in place to where I'm gonna be making me some money coming in. Again, I just thank God. I thank God for putting me in my career path, because I have met some amazing clients, some very wealthy clients, and I can only aspire to be half of what they, half of their assets. And not my husband and I are not rich, but I can say that God has been good to us. He is definitely a blessing, God. He is definitely a no-way maker. So with me being put in a position to really talk to people and just give me good information, like that's why I tell my friends when they come in the bank, I be like, they'll see I'm the only black, well, I was forever the only black person in my branch, and I be like, hey, don't let the bank job fool, baby. I come from PYC. And so me and my husband, baby, and especially when they be telling me about how they want to our house. I love to tell them how, you know, when I started with the bank, me and my husband, they have untouched dollars. You know, we had bad credit, couldn't get a thing of water on credit. But guess what? Like y'all say, our children was looking good. Everybody thought we was rich. They had the M&M jackets. And oh man, everybody had laptops. You know, everybody got whatever came out, you know, clothes and shoes and and we would go on our trips, cruises, do all of that. But ain't have nothing to say. And one day I just decided I wanted to turn that around, and we wanted to buy a house, and you know, and I met my colleague. She really helped me, telling me different things to do. And then really when I started talking to people about like in real estate, like I met a older white gentleman. He was kind of sweet on me, but you know, he the type that he'll probably call you when he gets you. He'll probably say, "Hey, that's my color gal over there."
Oh Lord!
Oh no! Hey, that what they say now. That's
colored gal.
That's the Southern term right there.
Gal. He was so sweet to me, and he was very wealthy. I also met him when I was at
colored gal.
Yeah, color. And he said, "Look, you can never go wrong with real estate." You know, and so that's something that I have tried to instill in my kids, like, you know, keeping your credit good. Like your credit is everything. Man, my girls, especially my son too, you know, but he married, and so, you know, the boys is kind of, you can have that rain, but then that other stuff take position over the mom. You know, y'all
right.
Yeah, I got you.
Mama. And even though his first credit card he got, you know, he was barely even working out of college and stuff, and he got like $2,500 with Bank of America, and I think like $2,000 with Capital One, stuff like that. So, you know, he but hey, he's still a work in progress. He's still good. He still know how to save, and that's the one good thing. Because I was just talking.
That's too small. I didn't mean to cut you off. We have one last comment for Tricky Nikki. What they say?
Stepchildren sometimes can be so annoying, but in the end, everyone has to work together for the betterment of the family, and that's really true.
Yes.
I'm gonna iterate on that of something Miss Baker just said. She said, you know, you see how you done set your children up for success and things of that nature, trying to get them to save, you know, have high credit scores and be wise with their money. And then you said you met the young lady that came into your bank, and she was crying because, you know, her family didn't set her up for success. So she's trying so hard to get to that point where you are right now. So you either can do one or two things. You set your children up for success, or you set them up to fail. One of the two. You know what I'm saying? I like the fact that us as people, man, you know what I'm saying, you know, we thinking that way, you know what I mean, as far as setting your children up and want them to be better than you was. For the ones that don't do that for their children, man, it's sad, because now you're not giving them a chance to do whatever they do, because when they get grown, man, they're going to be looking to do the same thing like everybody else and wonder why they had to go through certain things. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I got to say. You know what I mean?
In closing, Tricky Nikki, you don't have to rush or nothing. I'm just turning on the music that we winding up. You don't have to rush. Give me the Eddie Long version. Give me some final comments.
There you go. Pop Warner.
Well, I just wanted to say, yeah, stepchildren can be annoying, but adults can be annoying too. And sometimes when you got a person that's just an asshole, they just an asshole. It don't matter if they 12 or if they 25, 45, 55. And you know, in my instance, it was a lot of, like I said, I lived with a master chief who didn't know the difference between being a master chief on the boat and trying to be a master chief at the house. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
yeah,
you know, that was the issue, I think, in our home. Where in their home, because like I said, I was an adult, you know, young adult. I was living in one of my mom's rental properties. She had properties, you know. And but yeah, I feel like it's the person's personality. Sometimes you got people that just don't get along with people, whether they're their children, their stepchildren, their colleagues, the man down the street. You just got people that just can't get along with folks, you know, and it is what it is. But at the end of the day, just do your bid. If you're a stepchild, just do your bid, whether it's 10, 12 years or whatever, just do your bid and get the hell on and live your best life. You know what I mean? That's it.
Miss Baker, the banker, what you got, baby?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this, just like Cole said, some people just can't get along with anybody because I've known adults who, have chose to say, "Oh, well, they don't like me," or this, I don't like. I don't like. How can you not like a child? You're a child if you don't like a child who being a child. You know what I mean? You got to somebody got to be 21. And I can remember even having friends in the beginning because my kids have an aunt who's not but 2 years older than my oldest daughter. And when we would get them, we would have her too. And people have said, "Why you got her sister?" Like, and guess what? Now today, all these are young adult women. They got children of their own. And we had rocky roads, bump. I ain't gonna never say that we ain't had no peach cream life. But we have made the best of it, and we have tried to always come together as a family unit as best as we could. And like Nicole said, you have adults who just plain old petty, who plain old silly, who ain't gonna like nothing but what they want to like, their situation. You got a man here who living in your house. You want him to be a daddy in your turn, but he can't be a daddy in his own turn.
Oh, be a parakeet and say that again. Repeat.
Yeah, you're a petty woman. If he can be a daddy to your children, I don't care. Don't like me or whatever I said, but I said it. Okay. You are petty. Grow up. Be 21. Sometimes children gonna talk back like mine did me, because they just being churned. They don't care who they is. Like my nieces, they would do that. They didn't care. They cuss out their mom, they cuss out their daddy, cuss out everybody. They just being children. But you got to learn. Somebody got to be 21 in the whole equation, and somebody got to be an adult. And guess what? Them children grow up, and especially when they grow up to be parents themselves, and they step back and they look at themselves, and they like how Daddy probably did. Hey, damn, what the hell? So just keep that in mind. And then a lot of times people don't realize this too, and this is something I think that my baby boy probably does. He lived in the house with us where he was kind of like not really taken away from his mom because their mom always been there, but he wasn't living physically with his mother. So we never know what that child is going through mentally too. And like my son, how he told my husband, "You took my mama away." Hey, bro, you an asshole. You took my mama away. Right. But we never know what they are going through either. So sometimes we need to step back and be an adult and put ourselves in their situation. But I want to say that I thank y'all for having me tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And for all the strong men and women who out there doing it together, because when you with somebody, there's no I and us, we team partner, none of that, and making it work. I appreciate you. My hat is off to you. And you are a king and a queen. Wear your crown. Because our children need us, especially Black people. They need a family aesthetic. They need to see unity. Black people as a whole, we so divided and so torn. Why bring it in your house when they got the whole world against us? Come and love your kids. They already got so much a whole damn hold up for them with quicksand in that shit. Help your kids. Be a life jacket for them. Make your house be safety for them. My kids, I don't ever want none of their ass to come back home. But guess what? If they need to come back home, they can come back home. My husband and we say we'll never close our doors to them. We might cuss their ass out, but guess what? And make them have more rules. But this our shit.
Yeah.
You came here to back to live. You got to live our rules. But be a refuge for your children, whether they are yours biologically or not. Because really and truly, in the eyes of God, all of them are our children.
Right.
Y'all children are my children.
That's right. Amen. I ain't gonna tell you to preach no more. You gotta get the hell out of here. But T Smalls, say a little prayer for the ladies, man. That they have a blessed week.
God, man, for allowing these ladies to join us on this topic, man, which is a topic that need to be talked about. You know what I mean? Bless these women, their families and everything. And for everybody out there, man, who got the step kids, man, that's actually a real blended family. Kudos to you. For everybody who don't, keep them badass step churn to yourself. In God's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
That's under the tree. He cussing in the prayer.
Gonna make me put some vodka in my dang on.
No. Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. But everything was lovely. We enjoyed y'all. I was kind of scared about y'all coming on here, y'all two at the same time. But boy, y'all did good. I didn't know what to expect.
Hey, T Small's gonna start getting it from me now since he done got Christian with me now. So now
Yeah,
I'm gonna divide some of my bullshit with both of y'all.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Hey,
Just be
you know
cool this
it's
week.
all crazy.
Y'all be cool this week. T Smalls, if they don't want to wear their mask, what they got to do?
And that's their damn problem.
Better get no vaccines, honey.
That's right. We love everybody. Sometimes in life, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. If you have stepkids or blended family, treat them right. Because Ms. Baker, you did say kids grow up at the end of the day. And my grandmother always said, stand by, your ass gonna get old.
For real.
You better hope. Like my granny said, you better hope you get as old as I am.
Right. And just keep on living. But guess what, Smalls? You did a good job. Miss Baker, the banker, Tricky Nikki.
All right.
Y'all did good. And guess what? We out of here. Y'all be blessed. Have a good week. Talking Under the Tree podcast, 2021. Monk's going in the house. We got to do that Duval because they from Jacksonville. Smalls, I'm going to go first. Duval. Duval. You still want some of them crabs, but hey, that's enough. But guess what? We gone. See ya.